Hello, dear friends. Stuck here from Albuquerque in New Mexico, and this is a podcast about all the things that I have been doing all around yarn. I'm back from Germany. I spent about 4 weeks. I visited family. I hung out with friends, which was really fun. And I got to spend a few days with Doris, with whom you may remember because she's been visiting me here in Albuquerque, and we have at least 2 podcast episodes out because Doris loves to knit when we hang out. When she's by herself, not so much. She finished, while we were together, this beautiful shawl, stunning glitter, and I think she wove in the last ends just before she had to leave for the train back to Hamburg.
So, Speed Knitting, mein Ute-Schal. Die Wolle habe ich nicht von Ute geschenkt bekommen. Meine Goldschmiede-Ute.
Wow, toll. Total klasse gemacht.
Oh, schön. Soft.
Wow. Toll. Wunderschön.
My Ute scarf. She made the wool as a gift from me. It's
So my big accomplishment over the past weeks was this. If you remember, this has been on my needles for a very long time, and yes, indeed, 6 years. This is crazy, but it's finally done. This is called Standhaler, and it is knitted with 3 millimeter needles on the body, 2.5 millimeter needles for the rib, and the yarn, the colorway is called Standhaler. Moments. And this is the pattern. I did make it up, and don't ask me why it took me ages. I think I really truly love top-down sweaters now a lot more. So for one, skinny needles, and also kind of like knowing that I would have to seam. Then I could not find notes on the increases for the sleeves. Don't know what happened to those. There were all kinds of stumble stones. But it's done, finally. This is what I have left. This was one extra skein that I put aside, but it's quite a bit darker. I had to dye up a new skein for the front. Don't ask me. I think I put the other skein that matches the back exactly. I think I put that in the shop. I don't know if at some point I wanted to rip it out or what. I was thinking nothing, apparently, because now back and front are lighter and darker. It doesn't bother me. It's fine. I'm so glad it's finally done. I picked it up toward the end of the time in Germany, and I thought, I gotta power through now. I can't put this down again. I thought, even if my stitch count or my increases are bottom up, even if my increases are not 100% identical, it's gonna be fine. No one is gonna see I even won't see it, and indeed that's the case. Let me show you how it looks like. It's a good length. Yeah, and I wanted to use some bits of beautiful yarns as an accent here. So those were pearls, pearl rose, I think knit pearl, that's all. Yet again, more ends to weave in. Not my favorite, but it's done. And yeah, the shoulders were done with short rows in 3 sections, so they're slanted. And then I did a 3 needle bind off. And I really ended up powering through on the flight back to America because with the time change, you want to stay awake. It's a difference of 8 hours. So I knew I wanted to stay awake. And did I nap even at all? Maybe on the very last leg from Denver, but now it's done. I have a page in my knitting notebook, and it says that this is started in January of 2020, and it's finished on May 11, 2026. Yep. Nothing else to say. Embarrassing, but whatever. It is what it is. Nobody comes and gets mad at me, right? I do have another thing. I have 2 more finished, 2 more items, and one of them is the Uigui cowl, a pattern by Andrea Mallory. And yeah, nothing I can say about it anymore. You've seen this before. 4mm needles, Zia Wool's velvet held double, and the contrasting yarn is a hand spun, fibers dyed by me, and I love how it turned out. Initially, I didn't want to do the twist. Then I thought, no, let's do it because, I don't know, I think it's better if you really want to, mold it to your neck or whatever. And very happy. This was really done pretty quickly after you saw it in the last podcast. And here is the other finished object. My tiny cardigan. I have loved working on this up to a certain point, and I will tell you everything about it. But first things first. This is what I have left. And I had 3 skeins of the Juniper Moon Farm Harriet Fine, and I had 73 grams left. So I used only almost 230 grams of the Harriet Fine. And I dyed a matching velvet yarn. Again, Zia Wool's the Zori alpaca silk. And I had 4 skeins. And 37 grams left. And 37 grams, so I did not use a lot of that last skein. Interesting. Let me put it on for you. I really wanted to get this done in Germany. I have used 4mm needles for the body and 3.5 millimeters for the ribbing. I held, like I said, the Harriet Fine together with Asia Wool's velvet that I dyed to match, because I thought, let's use some stash yarn. I did bring a bunch of different buttons, but in the end, none of them really grabbed me. And I did not, I mean, these I found in Germany. I didn't bring those to Germany to use. But in the end, I decided to order these from a shop, an Etsy shop, and the shop is actually called Buttons and Designs. Yes, and I am very happy with them. The cardigan is short on purpose, and I personally think that the sleeves are wider than is my taste. So, I don't know, but I showed it to my daughter who was visiting for her brother's birthday just a few days ago. And she's like, oh my God, I'm in love, I want one. So and I said, I'm not too fond of the wider sleeves. And she said, I love especially that. So we'll see what happens. Can you make me one? I said, it's summer now. And she said, well, it's so cold in my office. Well, we'll see where that goes. Yeah. So the cardigan is done. And I wanted to tell you about one thing that I struggled with tremendously. I have no Wi-Fi in Germany, and so of course, I mean, I'm connected with my phone most of the time, but to get Wi-Fi on my iPad, I go to a public Wi-Fi, not far. But that turned out to be a pain in the butt, because you want to, well, how can I explain? In the end, what I had to do was I filmed the video, and I had the video set on slow motion, very, very slow, because I have never done a double knit button band. It really looks pretty, so I have no regrets. But to do it in a location where I can't sit down on my knitting spot and use my iPad and go back as much as I want to, that was a challenge. Yeah, I did it. As you can see. Yeah, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I'm glad I used stash yarn. I wish I had gotten it done earlier. Let me think. I think I just finished it like, excuse me, 1 or 2 days before I flew back home. And so I did wear it on the plane, buttonless. And, but yeah, at least I got it done. I brought way too much knitting, as we do. Does that sound familiar? And I did not get snowed in this time around. Go figure. I have also finished in Germany 2 pairs of socks. I gifted those 2 pairs of socks to the fathers of my goddaughter, and they brought me a pair of knitting, a kit from Estonia, I think, a kit for color work, mittens, and also 2 books about, wait a minute, now I'm confused, from Latvia. I never know these countries, I have to say that. They got me 2 books. I have not been digging into those, but sorry. Isn't this the cutest set? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's a cute. Yeah, so they know they feed my yarn obsession, and but they always get some socks, which they love. As you can imagine, the cardigan is way too warm. What next? By the way, I have not updated that page in my knitting book. Where is it? My tiny. So it is still missing a photo, but here's the ooey gooey page. All done. Yeah. Where was I? Easily distracted as usual. Yes. I have. And by the way, yes, we are doing the UFOMANIA 2026, and you have time until the end of July to submit your UFOs. Maybe a starting picture and a finishing picture. I will set up a thread again on Ravelry, because otherwise I cannot manage the giveaway. I haven't decided on a prize yet, but you will get a prize. Please enter in the Ravelry thread, the Zeros group. I will, like I said, I will set that up. I haven't done that yet. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of it today. I'm jumping like a bungee ball. Boing, boing, from one subject to the next. But I did not want to forget to tell you about the UFOMania and how you enter to participate. And it does not have to be knitting. It can be crochet, or it can be any fiber arts. You could submit your rug hooking, your crochet. You could submit anything that falls into that category. Yeah. So I am not sure I will get this baby done. High Desert Yoke. That's a color work yoke sweater patterned by Gudrun Johnson, and I had messed up on the sleeves on the stitch count. So I had to put that sweet sweater into timeout until I was ready to tackle it again. Yes, it is in this beautiful color, and yes, I have one sleeve done, and I have the body done, which is really oversized and cropped. And yes, it looks huge, but I think it's gonna be okay. Does that sound familiar? Woo! Let's see. Well, now I thought, well, what needle size did I use for this? Yeah, I thought, well, most likely 3.5 millimeters. So I poked a needle through a 3.5 millimeter needle, fine. But what you need to know is that this beautiful yarn comes from a fiber mill in Buffalo, Wyoming, and it's very elastic. It has a lot of bounce like hand spun yarn. So what I'm looking at right now as I'm working on it is, yeah, the width is pretty much the same, but the row gauge is off. At least I'm glad I have counted and compared, because I really wasn't 100% sure about the 3.5 millimeters. Remember the elf socks where my second sock was an inch bigger than the first one? Tension, that was tension. Here, is it tension or is it the needle size? I don't know. But folks, just as I was setting up for the podcast, it hit me all of a sudden. I just got to find an episode where I talk about this sweater before I put it in forever timeout. And because I always tell you the needle size. So I will figure out the needle size, and then I will see if it's my tension or if it should be 3 millimeter needles. Here's my yarn, and am I ever gonna get to this? Let's hope I will. What else? I have otherwise right now only one project that I am working on. Yes, it's true. And yes, it's me. I'm me. It's all good. And I will tell you why, because if you saw the last episode where I have looked at all of my projects and all the things that I want to do and all the things that I have started designing, it was really great to look at everything and to really make a decision and to figure out what is this? Where am I going with this? What would help me? Because I realized I'm making myself a bit cuckoo with all of these things. So in the end, I got a lot of super nice comments where people told me how they deal with their knits. A lot of you out there said they have only 3 projects at a time, and I thought that sounds pretty reasonable. Also, I thought that my having all of these projects lined up and the yarn combined already with the pattern, it's great, but also having it in the house and kind of like in a drawer made it very, gave me a lot of pressure. And also the designing did the same thing. So what I did now is I have one box with my designs, and I have a giant box with the projects and yarns lined up that I did put in the garage with my other stash. And that felt good. I feel like now I can actually really get a feel for what I am working on. I can make a decision on what I want to focus on next. I never talked about the socks, and right now I don't want to deal with any socks except for maybe when I go on another trip, which is not going to be happening for a few weeks, but then I may bring a sock project, which of course is always a nice thing to take along because it's so portable. By the way, in case you wonder, what the heck has she done with her arms? No, I did not wrestle a rattlesnake. I have wrestled my garden, which I shouldn't even call a garden. It's a desert garden. There's not a lot happening out there. But I ripped out a lot of dead plants, and yes, this is what happened. And did I see a snake? Yes, I did. One. And it was a racer, and I went in slowly to get my camera, and by the time I got back, the racer had raced away. So it might live out there somewhere. Who knows? They're more scared of us than we are scared of them. Yeah, definitely. They move. So, but back to knits. You wonder, what did she pick up? Maybe you do. I hope you do. And I have picked up the tail deagle. And this is what I do. I mark in the chart where I am. And yes, I have reached the chart. It was a little bit like this shirt here. I wanted to power through the stripy section because it was just getting super boring. And I wanted to get back to using this beautiful pinkish red, which works so great in combination with the other yarns. And I have 2 pages of the chart. And this section is actually pretty large, but it's coming along so nicely. And it's a good thing to focus on this. Let me tell you what yarns I use. If you want to get one more look. The pinkish red I have dyed up to match the other 2 colors. I know that a rusty orange would have worked very, very well, but I thought I have quite some shawls in that color scheme, so it had to be something different. And I have, where are you? Okay, I haven't even had this on the needles for too long, just a year, almost a year, 10 months, 9 months. So, and this is how the page looks like in my book. I am using 3.5 millimeter needles as the pattern requires. And the dark color is Stitch Together Studio. She's one of my favorite hand dyers. And I usually buy one of her skeins when I find it in a store. Colorful yarns. So that's in Littleton, Colorado. Great yarn store. And the other one is cesium yarn, which I got in a yarn store in Virginia 2 years ago. And unfortunately, that yarn store is just in the process of closing. That was in Williamsburg, or close to Williamsburg, Virginia. Yeah, I just love giant shawls, and this is one that has been on my list to make for a very long time. So you know how it works. Every 2 rows, the spine moves toward that smaller. I mean, this section gets smaller and smaller. And when the spine meets that edge, that's when you're ready to cast off all the stitches. And it moves only by 1 stitch every 2 rows. 200 stitches right now. And that does not change. Yeah. Anything else? Nothing. Do you believe it? I've been good. And I think when I am done with the Terra I will grab another one of my shawl UFOs, probably the Bruma. You will see that then. And in the meantime, wish me luck in figuring out the needle size that I have used for the High Desert Yoke Sweater by Gudrun Johnston, so I can actually keep going on this. That is my daughter calling, but I will say goodbye. See you next time. Happy knitting.